a few of the tax consequences that this bond has. We know it's putting us further in debt. That's without a question. What you are voting on, or will vote on, this proposal, $9.8 million. You add the interest onto it, $15.4 million over 20 years. That's the proposal you are voting on. Will there be a savings? Are we going to save money by spending money? From last year's amount, last year's budget, no. From this year's budget, yes. Because this year's budget had a higher figure that was put in there. More money was added to the building fund than what was the previous year's by quite a ways. Are your taxes going to go up? That's the bad news. No matter what, your taxes are going to go up. If you vote the bond down, your taxes are going to go up. If you vote for the bond, your taxes are going to go up. The only question is, how much and what for? That's the question we're facing. Politicians love to talk about levy and valuations. And we've heard this story over and over and over. Well, you know, the levy's going down. Several years ago, the school levy was 165. And we've got it down. There's a lid on that levy now. And you know, my word, you know, it's 105. Look how much his levy has dropped. The other side of the equation is the valuation. Ooh, levies went down, but the valuation went up. Sometimes, as it did in the 80s, the valuation goes down, and guess what the levy does? The levy goes up. The bottom line is, and everybody here knows it that pays taxes, the bottom line is it doesn't matter what the levy does, and it doesn't matter what the valuation does. What matters is what you write that check out for when you go to the courthouse and you sign it. And you all know, over any 3-year period, that check is higher than it was 3 years before, 2 years before. The check hasn't gone down, the check's gone up. When we look at the savings that's going to be in this, the proposed savings that, you know, well, you're going to save money. The bond isn't really going to cost that much. It's actually going to cost less because we're going to reduce operating expenses through this. We're going to reduce another portion of the school tax askings if we pass the bond. And I guess, you know, we asked for a budget, and what are these budgeted savings? We never did get a specific answer on that. Because the budgeted savings in a dollar amount haven't been given over a period of years. We were told there will be a savings on the building fund, and that would be around 8 cents. So then, but that 8 cents, if you ask, well, is that going to be for 20 years? Well, no, we can't guarantee that. We can guarantee it for 1 year. We know that. They will guarantee it for that. But they're not guaranteeing it for the life of the bond, so I don't know how you can figure that reduced value for the life of the bond. That 8 cents would come to around $7 million. I don't think there's $7 million worth of repairs that need to be done. The proposal itself, several years ago, we voted on a school bond. The school bond was for, the bulk of it was for a competition gym. And we were sold a lot of reasons. We were told a lot of reasons why this competition gym needs to be built. Because this was the best time right now to build. You remember that. You remember that distinctively. This was the best time to build on the last bond. Now the proponents are saying again, this is the best time to build. Now it's the best time to build. Folks, there can only be one best time to build. And CARE 5 doesn't believe that this is it. When we look at the proposal, there's a lot of money spent on renovations, classroom learning environment improvements, a little over $5 million, fire codes, around $270,000. New construction, we got kitchen and corridors, I think that was around 1.3. New gym and wrestling room, 2.6. Parking lots and site improvements, about 290,000. These are the things that this bond will go to pay for. We realize that there are things that need to be fixed in the school. We're not arguing with that fact at all. As a matter of fact, I've done the walkthrough. There are things that need to be done. I do question why they weren't done before this. If there are safety issues, those should be met when they arrive. If our kids are at risk, and their safety is at risk, that needs to be dealt with immediately. You don't wait and say, well, we're not going to deal with these safety issues because, well, we've got, we might pass a bond, and then we can deal with it all at once. If kids' safety are at issues, you deal with it. You deal with it immediately, you deal with it decisively. I'd like to break down the proposal just a little bit. I gave you kind of an overview of it. It was a quick overview. They're going to, on the new building proposal, the improvements that need to be done in the old building, these things need to be done. We're not fighting with that. That's not our issue. I think some of these things could be done maybe at a little reasonable expense. One of the things that needs to be done, that we are told that needs to be done because of the fire marshal's order, is the kitchen must be moved. We've got to move the kitchen because it doesn't meet code. So we are moving that over into a commons area, and that is part of a new building proposal. And I'm going to turn it over to Clay to find out, well, is the kitchen going to be closed down? This is one of the things, you know, that there's some talk out there, and it's been told to a lot of people that if we don't pass this bond, our school is going to close. People have gotten phone calls on this. It's in literature that has been promoted. If this bond doesn't pass, our school is going to close. This has got to be done.
Some of the, on the cafeteria